me to get into that first half. Michael, we'll pick up kind of what our chat that we were just having there as well. It's, I mean, well, disappointing. You kind of maybe want the one goal, but actually it's not been a bad display, I don't think, by the City team by any means.
When you look at the domination, it's been shots on target. You look at Brighton, not really got near City's goal. Yes, they've had a little bit of possession late on, created a couple of problems, a couple of deep crosses, that free kick towards the end. But I think this is where Pep Guardiola, his staff, everybody all around, analysts in all parts of the ground who are very, very good at finding little details where I expect different runs from different players. Nathan Ake just looks like he's struggling slightly, so we might see a slight change, whether it be Diaz or whether it be Zinchenko coming on for him. So lots of possession, some good movement, some different things to think about, but ultimately a little bit sharper, a little bit crisper, and really a bit more creative at the top of the pitch.
Is that kind of where they're the three areas you're thinking which we might just need to maybe improve on slightly to maybe get that first goal that we need?
Yeah, I would say so. I think Brighton, in some ways, I think they've offered a bit of encouragement to City because they are insisting on playing out from the back a few times. I think there was a chance for Mahrez which came from them trying to play out, and I think they've done a couple other little moves as well. But, you know, the players, they understand, like, games aren't just going to be won straight away. You know, this is part of the process. We could finish today and have the result that City wants, but the way in which they got it is something which makes people feel anxious because you can hear it in the crowd. You know, if they don't take a chance, they'll make the right pass. And I think for the player, the players
should be able to deal with that. They understand the supporters just want you to go on, and it's difficult, isn't it? Because City have that build-up, and the play and work you, and it's over the longer period of time they will get those opportunities.
I think we're at the stage of the season where everybody knows how important every goal is, every goal you score, every goal you concede, because it's changing the dynamic of that table and changing dynamic in terms of what you want to achieve. And I think the fans,
where do you think, Nedum? Where do you think is the good area? Is it the wider areas? Is it someone more central in behind? Do you know, if you're a centre back, does someone going off the back of dump maybe for a few minutes rather than dropping in?
I think possibly trying to get somebody stretching the game in behind centrally, if that's Phil or whoever, I think that would make a difference, because then in sometimes like that then provided us a bit more space for Kevin to be able to get on the back of their six and so on. And when he's got that space
to turn like he does, we've seen he's brilliant.
If you can find him space, you know, City are a far different side. But if it's a case of you moving it side to side, then he's very much trapped in there. You don't want him to have to go like 30 yards wide to go and try and get the ball. You want him to get it in key areas, but to do that sometimes you have to be forcing people backwards and out.
I think Riyad Mahrez as well, that switch of play, when you get someone deep into the box, I think you've got to go through him. I think that's that little bit of magic there, I think, can make the difference. And
Do you think Brighton have actually defended really well? Because as you say, there's been moments where you kind of think, actually, you know, could we have maybe jinked him through or got a ball into the box? But have actually Brighton, do you think, been set up quite well?
I think it's one set up, the back three, that City aren't as clinical. I think that's something that they find a little bit hard. We've seen more teams go and do that. You've got to say Brighton do it away from home. I think. I don't know, what is it with the back five at the moment? Do you know, it's
because you can be so solid. Like, say for some of those balls and stuff that coming into their box, they've got three bodies in there who are capable of defending that and want to take that head on. So if you can sort of at least just compete with something out wide, then people are going to be set. I think when you go for a four, sometimes people can get dragged out. You can have centre backs in front of, like, comfortably in front of the near post and the like. But for them, their bodies are in there, and then they've got the holding midfielders getting in the mix as well. So to break them down, like, it's very unlikely they'll be really stretched. There'll always be people trying to affect the game. But like in terms of defensive, I think Cucurella's done well overall against Mahrez, because Mahrez has had a few chops, but whenever he can step up and apply pressure to him, I think he's doing that. But it's not to say that Riyad can't just do some magic in the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. And the only kind of two chances that stand out to me, Michael, I think the first one, of course, was the Riyad Mahrez one. I mean, we're privy to kind of seeing it back on the screen here in the studio. Did it not just quite fall right for him because it was the keeper was out of his box, ball kind of off his line, wasn't he? He'd played it across, it came to Mahrez. You kind of want him to hit it first time. It was on his left, did it?
I think it's difficult as well, as we were actually saying that when you have this elevated spot and you're looking down, you're going just touch it onto your left and curl it into the far post. But there's a good challenge on him as well as he tries to get his head up to obviously decide where you are. So it's really, really quick. It's a couple of seconds. You think you've got more time, but when you're in the real time, the possession, the pressing's really, really quick. The desire of players and tempo. They know where you're going. They know where you want your next touch, so they're already taking yourself that way. So this has been a couple of good chances. Kevin De Bruyne delivered a great ball right across the face. Can somebody make that run across? I think sometimes a little bit quick at times that no one can get to support and get right across when you've got two wide ones that far apart. When there is that midfield run, I think there was some great runs early on. Ilkay Gundogan almost got in from that straight pass. The midfield there, Kevin De Bruyne tried it a little bit later on, so that was something they've tried to work on to get in behind them. But maybe more advanced area as well. Cancelo getting involved a little bit more. We knew, didn't we, at left back position, that you weren't going to get someone right round the back and a lot further up or coming into midfield from that area. So lots to think about. Obviously, substitutions. Everyone will straight away say, how do you change it for City? What was something different? I don't think it'd be over concerned to changing a lot. Obviously, left back, it looks like they're going to have to do something. I
mean, and I guess though that maybe with Zinchenko, of course, we know is very accomplished in that position. Champions League final played in that position. He does actually maybe tend to give you a little bit more of an attacking threat. Do you think than Ake would need him?
Yeah, I think so. It's not like he's infinitely more attacking than Nathan, but he's also a guy, who plays midfield for the Ukraine, so he's used to being in those positions which are just that bit further forward. So if he does come on, I'm sure it's going to be another option.
Do you think he'll want to do that, though, against Lamptey? Do you know what you feel like? You say, well, we've got enough balance, we can leave everyone where we are. Do we really need to empty that threat?
You say
do you do that, or do you sort of go, well, we'll have one half and half who can actually...
you say that, but then, to go back to last season, he was playing against Mbappe's and Neymar's and all that in that semi-final, and he did very, very well.
That was something question, wasn't it, defensively, whether he was going to cope, and he did. But he's not getting the minutes at the moment. So you'll be a little bit on edge. You'll be a little bit thinking, what does he need to do to get him? He might not put him on.
Yeah,
he might actually change it and put him at Laporte.
Yeah, but then in the same breath though, like I'd argue that he's not put Ake on just to try and defend Lamptey. Like it's City first, and they make adaptations to the team second. You know what I mean? So with that in mind, I wouldn't be surprised if it was just a like for like there.
Shots on target is kind of painstaking. I always think we've had 7 or 8 shots, only 1 on target, so I think obviously Nedum, that's a place in which we
need to get your right boot out there, mate.
Thanks, Bradley. Well, listen, Pep knows where I am. He knows where I'm at.
Yeah, I think some of that's to do with the fact that shots are being contested. If people are having time to take shots and things like that, then the quality is going to be higher. The more shots going to be there. So I think sometimes we forget there's other side to that coin, which is like the other side are defending quite well. They're making stuff difficult. Obviously, this is me defending City, but I'm just trying to defend the other side of the game itself. So at the end of the day, that's one more shot on target than Spurs did on the weekend.
I think the speed of it, the speed of the play, a little bit quicker. I know I say that it looks really obvious, but I think as soon as City play with a little bit more tempo, a little bit more dynamic. You look at the loading. We talked about the games at the weekend that come in thick and fast, and sometimes you can be patient and wait to see what opens up, but also. I feel like once they do that, once they make those quicker runs and behind, I think you're really on the back foot psychologically. I think the crowd will come up.
Yes.
And I think at that point, I think we can go on.
You want to see dynamic players being just that.
Straight away from the start of the second half. Just literally up it if you can. Just get everybody behind, give it a little lift in the stadium.
Yeah, and everyone will come with you at that point.
Absolutely. Of course, we will be in the Etihad area, of course. Right, those are the thoughts of Nedum and Michael Brown. Now, if you joined us before the game, you know that we played Who's Stat 3 clues, and we ask you to work out from them clues who is the Manchester City player, past or present. This was clue number 1. This player was the first to score 50 goals in 3 of the top 5 European leagues. Clue number 2. This player scored 14 Premier League goals in the title-winning campaign in 11 and 12. Number 3, this player had a crucial role in both the 2012 and 2014 title wins, and his song can still be heard today on the terraces. We had a lot of correct guesses come in on this, so thank you to everyone who has got involved. Nedum, seeing as though we were quick in there, you think you were the first out of us all in the studio?
So I think it's Edin Dzeko, and I think his 14th league goal that season was directly above me because it was in the 93-20 game, and I was allegedly supposed to be marking him, but my calf decided to not work, so I couldn't jump. So yeah, I think I remember that one quite well. I remember that one quite well, my friend.
What, the old calf didn't work on that day, Nedum?
The most disappointing thing is, like, obviously I was at City for a very long time, but the only pictures you can find of me in this stadium and me with Edin directly above me.
So it would have been 49. We wouldn't have got it. Got it right.
Yeah, that was it.
And you wondered about my pet.
Yes, I did. Well, there we go. Now we learn something new every day.
We've got a gecko. You call him Edin Gecko.
That is genius. Have you got any other City players, City name pets?
Mate,
no.
We're working on it.
I think
no more pets in the household, please. I've got to put my foot down.
Listen, we've got a couple of questions for you that have come in on WhatsApp, so we can also bring them up here on the screen. So if you've got a question, that's the number which you can use if you want to get involved. And this is our first question from you guys at home. Thank you for getting involved. It reads this. Whenever we're ready. Whenever we're ready, there it is, from Dave. Do you remember the first opposition player you swapped shirts with? And is there a backstory? That's a great question. Ooh. Or is there a shirt there is the one that stands out?
For me, I used to just swap shirts with people that were my friends who I knew. Especially when I was younger, because I didn't really have didn't have a pair on me to be able to walk up to someone and say, "Oh, please, can I have your shirt?" You know, that wasn't really my gig. So I've got tons of shirts of people I've played with. But I also remember that we played Barcelona in the new camp in a pre-season game, and we won 1-0 through a Craig Bellamy goal.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I got a shirt after that. It's just to remind me, like, that's one of the biggest robberies in world football, in football history. The second half, we did not. I was playing right back. I did not enter their half.
Wow.
Won 1-0 in front of like 90,000 people. Richard Dunn had to lift up I think the Galfarb trophy or something like that. It's like one of the most embarrassing moments ever.
You love to see it.
Yeah,
we'll
it's great
take
to
it.
be there. Yeah, for sure.
Oh, what a game to have played in as well. Brownie, any?
I've got quite a few. I don't like to say. I've got a few, but to be honest, I'm not going to name them. I'm just going to say I didn't like to go and ask for many because I always upset them, didn't I? The problem is it's hard to kick them all game, then actually say,
"Can I have your shirt?" Yeah, I'd love it though. Do you know what? As well,
I've got a few. I've got a few, but I wish I probably now. I was always one of those. I don't really want to ask, but now for your children and memories,
it makes a difference. Yeah.
I probably wish I'd have done it more. You know.
This is a very random fact I've seen, but you know the shirt that Maradona wore in the Hand of God game against England. That shirt's going up for auction very, very soon.
Are you bidding for it?
Yeah. If I was just take a look at a few mil I've got in my bank, that probably will be going for
more of these shells, mate. Flying.
I wish. Can we quickly squeeze in one more question? Can we? I think we can. Quick time. The players I know are in the tunnel. It's from George. At a point in the season, like the last 2 weeks City have just had, do players need managing in these sort of games, or are they running on autopilot? That's kind of, they found their rhythm already, or do they still need that team?
I think they already know what's going on, the importance, the level that these guys play at, big competitions, big trophies. They realise the recovery times, the prep, what they need, the game understanding, so they're ready and they're fully equipped.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Absolutely. Gents, absolute pleasure. Come join myself, Nedum and Michael Brown at full time. There you can see the boys are heading out. It's still 0-0. Of course, we'll be talking about a Manchester City win. And there you go. Ahead of the game, you can see Ruben Diaz is stripped and ready. So Ake did pick up a knock. That is looking like he's going to be taken to the field after that injury. So great to see him back on the pitch. Alistair Mann, over to you. The commentary, which remember you can get on the City app. He's with Sean Gota. Come on, City.
Thank you, Kel. Ruben Diaz has been out for roughly 7 weeks, but he's coming out at the start of the second half. And it looks as though it is indeed Nathan Ake who has made way.